Okay, now I'm not sharing the medical authorization form in the question, um, simply because it's not really necessary for those of you out there reading the question or to the parent. Can a school legally mandate medical treatment plans that they have no role in implementing? And what attached to the question is the form, the school form that says treatment plan for homebound services. Treatment plan for homebound services. Now, um, these forms are very common across the various states, and so understand that there's a couple of different types of homebound. All right, there's homebound under 504, which is part of the ADA, which those would be needing some kind of justification, usually mentally or psychologically, from a doctor in order to justify. That is where those forms are really intended, is more for 504, also for kids that have temporary injuries. For example, the star football player tore their ACL and had to have surgery and therefore had to be out for a month. Well, they would use that temporary homebound form. And why? Well, in order to justify why the kid's not at school per the state's compulsory education law. All right, things like that would be necessary. So they have these forms for those purposes, and also for 504 or ADA identified kids. Now, IEP, that's a different animal, okay? Because at that point, for an IEP, there would be, depending on the case by case situation, there are going to be some kids under their IEP that the reason that they need the homebound or temporary homebound is due to medical condition or some kind of temporary situation. There are other kids, though, that have IEPs to where homebound is a point along the continuum of alternative placements, which is least restrictive environment. Okay? So if your child if the IEP team is having a discussion on where your child needs to be, whether it's temporarily or long term, in order to receive a free and appropriate public education, then homebound is a point along that continuum. Okay? And at that point, you don't need to go to the doctor. You don't need to justify anything. That's an IEP team decision. And at that point, you don't need that form. I mean, in the school, I've had many clients that are like, "Oh, they want me to sign this form," and no, it just sort of depends on everything that I talked about. But it doesn't mean that stupid is what stupid does, or stupid is doing stupid things. All right, there are many people just stuck on stupid. So you could have just got the stupid person handing you the stupid form, wanting you to fill that stupid form out and hand it back to the stupid people. You know? And they could sit there and be absolutely convinced that they need that form. That doesn't mean that they do. And it doesn't mean that it's right. And it doesn't mean it's any of their stinking business what medication your child is on at home. If they have absolutely no business in the medication regimen that your child's on, then they don't need to know everything, guys. I don't know where, is this mindset. I have a couple clients right now. I'm just like, why? Why in the name of sweet Moses did you have diarrhea of the mouth telling the school everything about your life? These people, do not trust them, all right? They're not your priest and they're not your lawyer. I know that some of you are so convinced that FERPA is a hollow law. There's no punishment mechanism. So you sit there and go, "Oh, well, they violated my child's privacy." What privacy? To their records? Because, yeah, it's there, but where's the punishment? It's not HIPAA, to where you can sue the hell out of a doctor for monetary damages for violating HIPAA. FERPA's not the same thing. It's a hollow animal. It's a hollow law. Why? Because there's no punishment if they break it other than this, okay? And how does that get you back what they took from you? And that's why you need to be very careful in the information you share with your school. Personal stuff, family history, things of that nature, because it will be used against you if they choose to use it against you. Mark that. 100% of the time, guys. 100%. Depending on if you want to step out of line, if you want to question them, then there is absolutely no rules in war, guys.